Well, the first map of the series was close. The second, well, GLRS started warming up, and from there, this unknown quantity, turns out they're pretty good at Haven, taking a strong map, TSM's map pick, and taking us to a map 3. I mean, Roy, when we were looking at Haven and TSM picking this is something that TSM's looked good on, and even just the individual skill, but kind of got worked a little bit.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, Brazil has had a history of being very good on Haven. Like, it's been a pretty constant among all Brazilian teams where they've had very strong Havens, and I think it's because the style of the map suits their play styles very well, right? Like, we saw how far ahead Sato's been playing in front of his team this entire series, constantly pressuring space by himself, constantly challenging TSM, making them feel uncomfortable even in their own territory. And that's all a result of the fact that he's on this Jet duelist, but he also has Breach that is able to constantly provide him like a utility from far away to allow him to get this like space and get this aggression in the forward space.
And on their attacking side as well, I felt like they really used their utility very, very well to flush out angles, push Sim away from typical opping angles too. So really good job on that. Not too many teams utilize their utility that well. And like you were saying, Roy, Sato had insane crispy aim, in my opinion. I thought that he was on fire. He was doing so good, and that was really exciting to watch. And it just seemed like GLRS has the answer. It was very difficult for TSM to hold A on their defense side.
Absolutely. And I think a part of it too is that Uber kind of nailed it when he was saying that anyone on GLRS can pop off. Like, Brazil's #1 seed is not messing around, and they really showed us that exact statement in this series, where literally there was constant pop-off moments from Luxo, who finally woke up. He decided to join the server. He wanted a little bit of the spotlight. It wasn't just Sato this time, right? We saw clutches coming out. We saw Orango recovering rounds that were like completely unwinnable. And there's just so many cool moments that these players from Brazil's GLRS have just been stepping up constantly, and it's just beautiful to watch.
Yeah, and when we got to see the very first map in this series, it was pop-ups. Like, we did get to see some clutches. There was definitely a couple in the bank, but being able to have that online so much sooner as opposed to, hey, this is kind of getting late and things, was really nice. And just got to call out Luxo again, because that was insane job. Even just that final round was nuts. So if this is a GLRS that's going to be continuing playing like it's going on in the series, definitely one to be watching out for, especially now with something a little bit more unknown for both teams ahead of us. And I mean, GLRS have definitely showed that this unknown, like they've put in the work. I'd be a little bit scared if I was TSM right now.
Yeah, I mean, they're really feeling it. They're cooking up something on their side of GLRS, and it's working. We were highlighting Luxo and Sato before this match even started the series, and they haven't disappointed yet. I think from TSM, Sim was just over peaking, in my opinion. Sorry to say it, but overheating, and he wasn't really getting the support that he needed to successfully keep peaking. So, and I understand as a player you feel like you need to go all and out for your team, but it's the right time, right place for him. So going into this, they're going to talk about right now when they're backstage talking about issues. Maybe it's communication, maybe it's sticking to the game plan. I'm not sure, but this is the moment where they have a chance to clean it up, anything that went wrong that they felt like, and try to take the third map.
I mean, even looking at Haven, it's something that GLRS can have then this prep and this kind of tape and knowledge on. For Abyss, neither of them really know. So I think that TSM, when we're looking at such a big map, especially with these individual pop-off moments that they can have, I feel like this would kind of go quite well for them. But Roy, you were talking about how Haven fits the Brazil playstyle a little bit more, so I'm kind of curious what you think about these two varying playstyles now going into our deciding map.
Yeah, okay, so this is going to be my talking points here. Once again, you and I are still on the same frequency. We're like in tune radio. But Abyss is very different than the way Haven plays, right? Like, there's so many objectives to do on Haven. Like, there's long A control, there's garage, there's, front B. There's so many things to challenge on Haven. But I feel like on Abyss, it's slightly different in the fact that, I mean, you could only either hit A, hit B, or like do these like really slow defaults in mid, but there's not really much else to contest on the defense side besides like a little bit of, you know, A main and a little bit of mid, and that's really all there is. It's all about the site holds, and you have to be able to defend these site holds. And to be honest, TSM did not do that extremely well on Haven. They were not, even when they had 3 players on site, they still couldn't really stop the execs that were coming in from Brazil's #1 seed. They just could not stop GLRS's hits, and that kind of bodes, you know, it's a little scary for TSM going into this third map that is all about that.
And we've seen TSM be down before, so I just want everybody to remember that they had an insane lower bracket run in NA Challengers to qualify for this event. So if there is a team that has showed resilience before, it's TSM.
100%. And I'm curious then, we talked about the play styles, but then, I mean, like, going into this now, like for the player perspective, this unknown map in this pool, like which side do you think this favors more of?
Well, like Roy was saying, we didn't know what to expect from GLRS on Haven, and clearly they were well prepared. They probably, maybe it was a bait map. Ooh, now I'm thinking that they wanted them to pick Haven and that they already had a game plan. Yeah. That could be it. And going into Abyss, again, they left it open for a reason. They probably have a game plan too. And also, it's kind of scary for TSM because GLRS is really feeling strong. That was a very convincing win in compared to map 1.
Yeah, and to go back on your points here in terms of like sidedness on Abyss, I think it really comes down to whatever meta these teams decide to run, right? Because right now we're seeing the resurgence of like the old Ascent, you know, meta where KO and Sova are there, that DRX is popularized. We've also seen some of the double controllers that Leviathan was running with Harbor plus controller, and I think those double controller comps are incredibly strong on attack, but they do tend to struggle a little bit on their defense. So I think the sidedness matters more on the composition and the approach of the map versus like the map itself, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Do you think then, with what we've gotten to see from both of these teams, that this is even something that from the get-go, whoever's brought out this comp, whoever's kind of won in this agent select is just going to straight up be able to take the map? Do we think they're kind of evenly squared off? Or is it more so GLRS with what they've been able to build up and this momentum from this Haven, even if they're kind of a little bit of a deficit from the agent select, could be able to just outplay?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had the foresight because, again, we have no data on GLRS, right? But once I see the agent select, I might have a more updated opinion on that. But, I mean, I think it really just comes down to the compositions and the approaches. It's really all going to be that. And depending on, like, the clashes as well, obviously, like, you know, TSM might opt for the similar composition that they ran before. They might opt for the DRX comp. It really is hard to say. But, I mean, if I'm GLRS, I'm definitely leaning into this double initiator because it seems to work very well for GLRS, and I would like them to see lean into that more so than the double controllers.
I would just like anything to be setting up Sato in the series because been having an absolute game. But I want to know then your wish list of going into this, especially knowing these teams and kind of the agents like that you could envision coming out.
You know what? I'm gonna go with against what Roy was saying. I feel like let's get a double controller setup going. I mean, because this is a map like you were saying. You hit, you exec, and you need the double controllers to help you get that more successful. Although, of course, double initiators would help, but I just feel like more map control would be in GLR's favor, especially because they're such an aggressive team. This is a team that likes to be in your face and likes to overwhelm, likes to flood on post plants, and a double controller would definitely help assist in that area.
What I think is going to be really fun about this agent select from both of these teams is we're still so early on in the tournament. So this is going to be the insight and what others can take tape on going on for the rest of this group stage, which I think is just absolutely amazing. That's a lot of information. We got to see Abyss already in our pool, but we didn't get to see it play. This is the first time. So heading into the Blacklight agent select, we'll get that opportunity. And oh my goodness, right? TSM's cooking.
Oh my god, they're both kind of cooking. I love the double duelist. I've been a big advocate for Yoru on this map, and nice to see Seven's duelist re-debut, I guess. It's kind of back, but I'm actually a massive fan of the double controller, double duelist solo initiator. I really don't feel like you need a Cypher on this map because you're constantly challenging middle as defenders anyway. So I really don't think you need a Sentinel. I think the double controllers pair extremely well on this map, and I kind of like what TSM is cooking. And on the other hand, I do like the double initiators for GLRS' side because it allows them to overrun sites and kind of do what they do best.
See, I'm just considering that game 2 that we got to see from 7. This would be awesome. So let's not waste time. Head over to our casters for game number 3. Let's go.
Thank you very much, Sierra. Already very interesting agent select out from both these sides. The double duelist looked for TSM. And then we see GLRS go with that Gecko look. So something reminiscent of Heretics, except they have the Omen instead of the Astra there. So nice little variation. Maybe looking to play more of that post-plant style with teams falling back off those sites.
Yeah, we did see a decent amount of Yoru on this map at Champions as well. See how Sedvin adopts to the role. I mean, playing Initiator, now flexing over to a Duelist. It's a big fight in mid. The TSM win out. Trading nicely.
And now Luxo and Evil Kick are the last two standing. I mean, we saw it from NRG early in the year, right? Ethan would also flex over to the Yoru. It was on Breeze fairly, but it was a pretty comfortable transition for him. Still many elements of that kit lend themselves to Initiator's game style. And that'll be that quick as you like. A big fight taken in for TSM. Nothing overly complex about that round. Just good positioning.
Yeah, the double duel is pretty crazy. But I like to see it. Sim already picking up a scoped weapon, the Outlaw in his hands. Obviously, this map just has massive sight lines to exploit with the scoped weaponry. And with how much Sim has been offing, we'll see how much he'll carry that over from Haven here to Abyss. And I will also see how much the pernicious mind virus that has him just re-peeking everything and going for the craziest shots, jump peaks, etc. will, take part on the Abyss, or if we'll be reining that one back a little bit.
Well, before that, we couldn't have a game between these two teams before a tech pause was thrown in here.
We simply must have at least one tech pause, just for good old time's sake.
So I'm using the inside information of looking at the screen and trying to see who's currently talking to an admin right now to determine the cause of this technical pause. Everyone looks pretty normal.
Curious.
Yes, join me on this journey as we try and sleuth out the reason for this, or wait for my production to give it to us in a few moments. We'll also be able to relay that to you.
Any second now.
This decided map, of course, of this series. Still got a whole another game to go today, by the way. M80 take on All Knights after this, which is going to be a fascinating one. Obviously, your top seed from NA versus your number 2 seed from the LATAM region. All Knights, really interesting team. Fun to watch. One of the most aggressive duelists I've ever seen on that squad. Just Dante Deus, absolutely unhinged kind of player. Up against a team in M80 who are pretty good typically at shutting down those really aggressive teams and often go without a duelist themselves. So
yeah, unhinged, and the neon movement from that man is crazy. So more to look forward to if you were just going to be locked away in the Valorant viewing dungeon all of today. You have so many games to tune into. And it does not end. We've had some pretty sick action so far.
And this series obviously is taking up much of the day for these two teams. It's been a long one. They are obviously coming out of that Haven game, a TSM pick where they get 3 rounds on their defense side. Really average start. And they're playing a lot of that map by trying to stack up in sewer, find these 2 and 3 player setups, try to trap our GLRS, and they get absolutely blown over. Sato continues the trend that he found in that first map and was an absolute nuisance over the course of the series. And Luke Show with a great map in general. 7, the top fragging player on TSM, only going like 12 and 13, I think. So very underwhelming from them as a whole. And I feel for anyone on the East Coast. I feel for Roy, that home is going to be with us for a hot minute.
He's going to be up until 3 a.m. Yapping away. Salute. Yeah, this Euro should be pretty effective, though. I mean, obviously, this map is massive. Just having the rotates available with the gate crash as well is pretty pivotal. Being able to get to the right side on defense, manipulate rotates when you're on the attack side as well. Making that presence and then faking, getting elsewhere, right? So we'll see what 7 can do on an agent that he doesn't play all too much.
No, we definitely don't see that from him, but he's definitely an individual with the ability to take the games over. Also, gotta be aware of this. What kind of high altitude training have our players gone through? Because Monterey, it's actually only 540 meters above sea level, actually. So it's not that bad. I thought it was like proper up in the mountains, but it's actually not really. 1,770 foot for those of you Americans.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if you've really, I think Denver's probably even higher altitude than that.
Oh, I'd love to see that. I love to see that.
Wyatt knows where I was going with that next. I was going deep into the topography and geography of Monterey. Best, though, a bit more interesting surrounds to ponder for the time being. TSM have gotten forward on this B site, really establishing a lot of map control, with the exception of Poise playing a bit more safe through mid.
Might actually be a 1,700-foot drop to the bottom. Really measure that out. Sim and a Proto posted up, just easy kills.
It is astonishing how the fall risk on this map was really understated when it first came out. The amount of fight situations we've seen people fall off this map in. I'm also referring to the All Knights game against their regional rivals Rita. That was absurd. It happens more often than I expected. Kimon dying by more, well, not natural causes, but more reasonable causes in the context of a game of Valorant. And now GLRS with their last two players are setting up over towards A here. They'll have themselves a plan with Wingman. And Luxo can set up here on this A site.
Playing a cheeky angle, but forced back. No activity. The Bulldog bullets coming at him. 7 cleans up Lucio, and Marengo might as well just take a leap, buddy.
Yep.
But he'll go down to the Outlaw. That's fine.
Odds are about the same for him in that situation. And good start. This is how the round obviously played out early. You notice that TSM really are pushed up here. Sim able to take that first elimination, playing forward on that B site. The point of weakness is that Luxo is able to get up through mid there and start to apply some pressure. He pulls out and heads over to the A side.
I'm not gonna lie, as the camera panned back, I got really nervous for a second. I started I was locked in for a moment. A bead of sweat left my brow. I thought we were headed to another.
Yeah, every time we come out to this sort of scene.
Every time we come out, that scared me, but we're fine. We are fine.
Tell you what,
I mean, Orango, he is not fine. He is a headless man.
And headless men don't do well in the marketplace of ideas, folks.
No, they do. They struggle.
GLRS here have to dig through their repository of strategies here to find something to work with 4 people with. This Viper Wall, pretty annoying for them. We've seen a couple of variations on the controls on this map. We've even seen Harbor in some regions. This Viper Wall pretty effectively cuts off that push into B. So forces you to take the vulnerable if you want to swing coast after getting onto the side itself.
Down B.
So around now as that spike is dropped in Nest. It has to go and be recovered. Yeah, a little scary. There has to be Cloudburster for Sato to get across, so that's a 10 HP. So there's a bit of clench factor there for the Jet. But GLRS able to pull their players out of this B side.
Yeah, a bit scary for GLRS, just taking some straight-up long-range duels. They're facing down the barrel of an Outlaw as well. Ruda's gotten some good space here.
30 seconds
Did
left.
a nice job of this. Occasionally on Haven, too, just exploiting another area of the map, pushing up deep. So that A site will be available. 3 versus 4 with the Vandals, with the superior guns, obviously. More than doable. Playing so forward, finds one. Nicely done. I like that aggression.
Great to get the drop on those players, rotating through. Trying to come through your own spawn on this map, not nearly as safe as it is on others. Luxo here is ready for another. 7 hope for a better weapon. Instead, gets a Warrior's Burial. 3 on the round for Luxo, and GLRS salvaged this round admirably after losing 2 at B.
I mean, Luxo started this series in the grave and has exited. He has returned to life, to sentience. This man has been popping off since Haven, showing the form that we saw within the Brazilian region online. Was worried that he might, be cursed with the label of onliner, but that has not happened. He is turning up
Now, it's not the first time we've seen a Sentinel-less comp on this kind of map, right? ADG did that as well, if I'm not mistaken. It does pose some challenges for TSM. You can't really passively control mid. You can't really leave someone on the site as a pivot either. Here comes the thrash on towards the site. Narango looking to let it loose on 7, and the catch is good. Sato was there, ready to capitalize, but Poised is going to emerge from that upper site and find the 1-for-1. Poised on a dime. He's trying to throw that Al drone down. There's still 2 players by Coast here for GLRS. Poised about to find that out. Yes, the double ping for him. Viper wall comes up. This will allow Poised to cross the site, but now GLRS have pulled their forces out of fully playing for a retake.
Have to try to swing a bit proactively, though, and they do. Look at that triple face. Lovely call from GLRS. Reposition from Rude as well, just to set up a crossfire. Some more angles for TMD to deal with, and due to that, no choice but to retreat.
Cam thrown down on the spike side itself, sees Kimon come in, and then he makes a very swift exit. Holding at least onto the weapon coming out of the round as GLRS post their second attack side round. A really frenetic, fast hit there with some key abilities, including Thrash employed.
Yeah, the Thrash as well as that tag from the Jerome that Evil Kick sent out assisted the Thrash, really, because they could see that one of the players was just, you know, running, jumping around, trying to dodge away. Great time to Thrash. They don't have multiple players to try to break it when it's coming at them. Finds that tag. Allows an easy first blood for Sato. Creating space up top, and all of that has put TSM on the eco, pushing down mid like they did on the pistol. They collected a bountiful harvest on that first round. We'll see if they can do it again.
They've got to go. I thought they'd really try and overwhelm the show here after that camera got thrown down, but they only imply the presence of 1 player here. But in reality, TSM have really canvassed mid with all these individuals. Okay, doesn't know about Poise. It doesn't matter. The correction is beautiful for Lucho.
Okay.
Come on, find the kill.
Guy.
Oh, that's absolutely dirty. It didn't matter that he didn't know that there were 3 players there. He just sees them one at a time and reacts. And Gimon with that rifle preserved from the previous round comes up with nada.
Just some straight up 1v1s. Lucio wins them all. Superior weapon, superior aim. Topping the board right now early as the Cypher.
Look at this. I mean, the crosshair placement is pretty crisp, but even that is not enough to get you out of that kind of situation. So, buy at least here for TSM. Hate to say it, but yeah, it's a good time to call attack pause now. Coming into a round where you are bought up, ready to go. You also have Dimensional Drift and Viper's Pit to deploy here. So, big ultimates coming up for TSM. And they tried to take mid in that last round. Sent 4 players down there. And one of the GLRS individuals are able to unravel them there and then.
And they definitely could have just gone 1-for-1 on that. The attempts at the swings were pretty monotonous.
They just swing together, I guess.
Wading through the syrup. Yeah, they could have increased the tempo there just a little bit. Not quite my tempo on those swings, if I'm being honest. Maybe a second faster would have been nice.
Yeah, lining up a little bit there. Lucho playing around of aim laps instead of Valorant, it seems. But again, that was a variation we saw from TSM because their weaponry is a little bit weaker. Trying to go for something novel. Remember, we come into this game, I think it was probably mentioned, on the desk coming in, but neither of these teams have any, games on Abyss. It was often floated, I think. It's sort of towards the end of the Challengers playoffs, but we've had a break since then. We haven't had officials really from either of these teams. Okay, with the exception of TSM playing with like 3 or 5 of their players. They played with like Baby J and Exalt in another tournament, but wouldn't read too much into that, folks. But this quote-unquote real deal TSM looked horrendous on that previous map. It was Haven.
Going for an aggressive line, just all the way up, banks the flash off the wall. 7 just creating his own opportunity. Easy 2 first kills.
That's a spike. Now we flip the map a little bit here. Tim knows they got up mid. Good for 1. Might have seen the shoulder of Sato. Tell you what, he's struggling to win those duels against Sato. That has been 1 point.
Gun here.
Bit of a sticky one for Sim.
All right, TSM, we have to close this out in nice, safe fashion.
I know exactly.
Nice high-low peak.
Okay, overpulse there.
Down, Poise is swinging alone and punished.
Luke Trophy 2. dangerous player. But Seven Hat ends up with a great round. Couple kills to start things off to get the spike dropped, and then GLRS got forced into a really odd situation to play out of.
Man, I was getting worried there for a second, but TSM able to trade things out at the end. Just high-low setup. Boys thinking that one of them had gotten stunned there. Wasn't the case. Punished for it, but again, the high-low setup just seals things up at the very end. So TSM out of the timeout, able to stop the bleeding at least for now. The economy is still not particularly good. They've got a number of ultimates to try and win this crucial round, to actually start building that bank up.
Our drone gets down. I think threw a dart into the smoke there. Smoke refreshed in mid. Gimon knows he's going to be under a lot of pressure right now, so try to grab while to slow things up. And there's a TP onto the side here. Rude is getting aggressive, but a Proto catches him as he tries to advance. Sato, uncharacteristically, loses a straight duel there to Gimon. TSM are on the site in numbers here. But there's presence in tower. Irango drops to the side and eventually drops. It's only Luxo left. Poise and a Proto want to lock this down. And I don't think he knows about where a Proto is. Giving time for Poise to wrap around plate from tower here. Luxo's options are very limited. Okay. Proto knows he didn't go all the way up. He knows he dropped down. He also knows there's a risk of being spotted out here as he wraps around, but the camera can't be used while you're planning. And Luxo is exposed.
And you can't let Luxo get away with another clutch like that. A Proto really biding his time, ensuring he can get an easy kill. Does just that. None of the ultimates needing to be used from TSM. They win the round off the back of just such a fast flood to assist to GMD, who found a very high impact kill. Shutting down Sato on that swing. Like, what a fast reaction to get that headshot. GMD just ever consistent for the TSM squad. All year long has really been a standout. I mean, this guy has been consistent for genuinely 4 years straight now in Valorant. Has always been such a solid pro.
This is the time we're going to rely on storied individuals like that. It's a group stage game. No elimination on the line here, but still crucial to win this. Sim floats on through and picks up Sato there with a knife to the brain. But it ends up being a trade at best for TSM. Still good at defensive pop over towards that A side of the map, but Luxo is going to see it all now.
Luxo is just determined to win this game one way or another, and if it's just him who has to deadlift everyone to the finish line, he is going to do exactly that. A Proto caught, pit wasted. The smoke drops, Wingman gets the spike planted, and this round is sealed up. The economy has just never gotten off the ground for TSM. They just have to save here. 3 players below 1K.
I can say the same for GLRS. We've had a lot of these back and forth rounds here. This is how they can actually start to solidify that bank. 13-5 after 7 rounds for Luxo. God damn it, man. Guys look sick, and he faced that 3-player sort of storm down in mid.
This guy is, he is nice. He is nice, man. I mean, it was a cool opening from TSM. That double swing with Sim floating majestically. But it all comes down to the lurk from Luxo, finding the pick onto GMD. And then after that, just flanking, putting a Proto in the pinch, getting pressed from all angles.
Here's that pop right on the back of a flash here from Seven. See him capitalize on that. A little bit of a gimmick that only results in a trade. A Proto here, again, just has no information actually about where GLRS are on that side of the map, so actually swings out of his own pit into the waiting arms of Luxo. Sim here, I know, has been a hot topic in Twitch chat. Right now, hoping to drive TSM towards victorious outcome here on this map. Very much anyone's game. Still an even affair. TSM, though, the guns are a little dodgy.
And as for GLRS right now, they have the Cypher set up to monitor what's going on the opposite side of the map, where TSM have shown a willingness to get aggressive, but Seven with the Marshall down mid gets that tag, gets some damage onto the most impactful player
this is great.
in the server right now. I mean, this is a hell of a lot of damage. softening them up for the Sheriffs. 2 one-shotable players.
This is a huge difference made. TSM here, of course, with a double duelist comp on defense, have to try for these sort of setup plays. Have to try and leverage the kits to those duelists to offer them on defense. Luke Show and poised. Full heal, gonna have a thrash over onto the site. TSM respect this. They're going to play off of it entirely. So the 4-player squad of GLRS here will have their plant.
Crash being recovered as well. Dimensional setup looks like it. Dimensional trip to get the information. Like very close. Great timing into the dark cover. Immediately traded by Sim though as the wall comes down from the Astra.
Whoa. Okay. I don't know if Sato was ready for that, but his reactions were enough to account for the difference. Gravwell there, a bit of a problem for the Jet. Sato very low and vulnerable up. And now it's Evil Kick. Top of the site, brought to heal by Sim. And a great round for him. We highlighted him at the start. 4 kills for the Jet.
The cosmic divide that came in from GMD just cutting off the players who are, playing passively, like back danger towards Nest. They're just irrelevant in the fight. As Sim just kind of leads the charge, swarming these players, caught. They pick them apart one by one. Nice recovery in the round from TSM, a round where they came in with a terrible buy.
It's all right, Wyatt. It's not a take pause. All good.
Are you sure?
No.
Okay, no, it's not. We're playing the game.
You hear the tremble of the lip.
We're playing the game. The quiver. The fear.
Back to the action now, and Seven has actually forged a way out of that A site.
Yeah. Pushed up, has the gate crash, so you can just take that first duel and vanish back to safety if necessary. Also just to lock things down with this operator. Mixed success so far in the series, to say the least, for him with that weapon.
Oh, he's had to throw another one! And he got caught out. That is rough timing. Or did GLRS play around the gate crash cooldown? We won't know. Over to the A side, though, they pretty comfortably get in. Rude here alongside Luke Show are controlling this upper side as well.
Yeah, that's a cool little way to control the upper side. You had Rude playing over towards B, containing, and then TPs to get with Luke Show, sends out the paranoia so Luke Show can take heaven. Very cool little setup to split it down.
Timno's going to be there. Double face, Durango is down. Do they know about Rude's position here? Still back towards mid, but on that upper side. They still look to threaten Gimon and the Proto. Set up, but not before. They go to work on the entrenched GLRS players on the side. Okay, giving Evil Kick a lot to work with here. That is absolutely devastating. TSM trying to unravel that post plant. They almost get there. It's just that one player. And Evil Kick just destroys them.
Crosshair placement just right on the pixel. I mean, perfect headshot onto GMD. Reaction time is lovely. Was so ready for that. Fully still. Didn't move an inch. Really well done. And it's just back to what we've been saying really all series long, and especially since Haven, just how anyone on this GLRS team can step up at any given moment. They all have the capability to make a round-changing play. Wow, just barely gets out of there as 7. Sim immediately onto Rude, traded out by Sato.
I think this B hit is here to stay for GLRS. Recon able to spot a Proto out. Sato knows exactly where to be looking here. Steps up and gets him through the wall. Dizzy came on in, so there was nothing a Proto could have done either way. Sitting in the back of side, I think he's poised up on that high ground. Has to stand his ground here. Aldro maybe to re-clear, was maybe even thinking about that mid-presence, and he wasn't wrong. Because Luke Shaw has made his way up to start to threaten this B-side play, but Gibon is ready for it.
No charges left.
Now we're even, 2v2. Sato, though, is pinged out by that recon. Boys might want to reload sometime soon, and instead gets taken down. It's going to be Sato traded. And there it is. Evil Kick tries to go for a plant, but this time it's Gimon that comes away with 3. Keeps TSM ahead by a hair.
Last round before in the half.
Yeah, keep on the steady hands of TSM. Well played from him. That Dizzy coming over top was nice. Sato's just set up so well here. The TSM have shown a lot of proactivity when it comes to flooding back into these sites. And it really has been the catalyst of the round wins that they are getting on the board. Supporting each other. Getting in very quickly.
Again.
Despite the size of the map and the distance that needs to be covered, they're managing to do so.
But this is a double duelist comp on defense that has been able to put up 6. Pretty solid. Again, they're going to go for the same play. Oh, in layers, in fact. Now 7 and Poise actually emerged. That's beautiful.
Down A.
Maybe they thought the pain was over once Sim ducked out. That's clutch. And that's TSM putting themselves 2 players ahead.
Yeah, that's very cool. On the prior one, 7 and Sim were a bit more time swinging at the same time, but this one, it was Sim just diverting attention and crosshairs, a little bit guided to the right, so this player swinging from the left could get those easy kills collected. 7 does so, and I draw your attention to B, though, where Rude has just entrenched himself deep into the site. TSM are certainly aware that this is more than a possibility, but actually a likelihood.
Very passive positioning on the map now for TSM, falling back to these internal angles. Some internal canines in Rude, that's for sure. Able to find a proto here. Post plant set up now. A chance to keep the defenders at bay with this paranoia.
Yeah, paranoia for Sato to swing, but doesn't connect on to Sim, so passive is he on the angle, just trying to find a moment to even things out.
So patient as well. Doesn't fully commit to that angle. Still gets punished though. Sim's able to find him through
Standing.
the wall, apparently. And it's all up to Rude. And TSM able to clean him up, come back through again, really giving up the map, but playing for the retake together. Nice way to come out of this defense side with 7 rounds to their name.
Yeah, and that is the definition of discipline right there from TSM. Rude gets that first, but it doesn't end up mattering. I mean, they're even ready for his forward push. They just lost the duel. He had done that on a prior round in the same situation when they're a man down, getting the spike planted. He wants to fight forward and find something to even the odds. And they almost made it happen. But TSM with a very competent defensive half. Small lead, but a lead nonetheless as we get to the side swap.
And what we're looking for is to see how this Yoru plays into TSM's attack side strategy. They obviously, as many teams do, will look to fall off the site somewhat after getting that plant. But getting in there behind this Yoru, and of course this Jet, gives them a few options that were not really available to GLRS. TSM really started to adapt and adjust to the pace, frankly, that the attackers were bringing on that first half. So this is where we really see what this comp of TSM is designed to do. They've given themselves a real foundation here for a successful map. But they looked extremely shoddy when it came to Haven, and Bind even had us questioning a couple things. But they came alive there when it mattered. And that's why we're in this third map at all.
And that being said, have to say still overall, impressed with TSM, the progress that they've made this year. Was looking forward to seeing them again after they had such a massive, what felt like overperformance possibly in the playoffs to qualify for Ascension, but they are still playing well. They've played a lot of quality rounds here today. GLRS are just no slouch of an opponent. There's 2 Brazilian teams that we've had the pleasure of seeing play today. Both have been very impressive. I think playing at a level that people really didn't expect.
Again, taking their time here. We're starting to get to the business end of this series in general. Your number 1 seed from Brazil takes on your number 2 seed from America. Or North America, as I should say. TSM definitely a Canadian or 2 here and there. Let's see what they can show us now with this Yoru and Jet combination. That Astra to pave the way as GLRS look to make up the deficit with a successful pistol round.
So at the moment, it looks like they just want to go for this 4-1 late lurk on to be GMD going to place those stars and then come in for the backstab later. How do they execute this, though? Here comes that gate crash deep into the site as the Viper wall goes up. The recon in deep as well. A lot of utility to allow some safe passage here for the plant. Over on the cliff side. 5 versus 5, and now it's time to play long range.
Between the Viper and the Astra, that B site is completely covered with util. There is just no choice for GLRS but to play this full retake, considering that they weren't really embedded and anchoring the site anyway. Sim definitely sidesteps the paranoia coming in, is ready for Sato.
One enemy
Head goes
remaining.
rolling as soon as we catch a glimpse of it. Still up to one rude dude. In the old 1v5 in the pistol here. This is not a great sign for GLRS. And a Blacklight flawless to start off the half for TSM, already in the lead. Looking to show what this attack side comp can do.
And Sim immediately on this attack half, just making up for the misdeeds on Haven. He's playing very well right now. Those were some crisp shots onto the GLRS players trying to spill back into the site. TSM, all of them really were just posted up, ready to take those long-range duels. And once you have that spike planted over on the cliffside, it's just so easy to close out the rounds. I mean, unless you just lose a lot of gun duels, but you know, it is tough to do that. You can play around the pillar in such a safe, effective manner as they did.
So Gimond here. Obviously, his Astra can play completely externally to TSM's setup. And it is a very... It's like the curry spot of Abyss, if I'm honest with you, where he is sat. Very, very passive angle, looking for a late lurk. Which means that TSM have a bit of time to work with as long as they maintain mid control, which the Proto is offering them. And there is Rude, just shows a little too much leg, I'm afraid. And out in front of them, Aldrone ready to block bullets.
Seven going to gather that ult orb as well, just trying to get close to the dimensional drift. Spike is going down safely, and TSM will have no problem cleaning things up. I mean, obviously this is early days in the tournament, Mitch. I mean, it's only day one, this whole group stage to go through, but there's a lot of weight on these teams. They've been playing all year, 9 months at this point, just for one tournament that has no second place. Every match counts. 4 teams are going to make it through this group stage, and you have to claw for every single win that you can get. There are no slouches here. It is a stacked field.
Yeah, when you think about it, the road to Ascension is extremely treacherous. These teams already have spent so much of this season playing multiple splits in our home scenes. TSM, who started off the year really lackluster, really didn't impress anybody at all. They were volatile, they were streaky, they couldn't put it together until it mattered, until those playoffs. Able to take down Oxygen and MXS in back-to-back games before falling to M80. And they showed themselves to be the real deal, and they came alive at the right time. But again, there is an even better time than your regional playoffs to peak, and that is here at Ascension. And an even better time than that is right at the end of this series to get a good W at the start of your group stage.
And a win here against GLRS would be another nice pelt for this team to collect. They've been knocking down some of the best teams in the Challengers scene as of late. A lot on this round for the Brazilian side. This is their full buy. TSM on the bonus, but they have a pretty competent buy themselves. Guardians on a long-range map will be effective.
Now down under 40 seconds.
Time to jump.
Comes TSM, poise shows here. Luxo on the cameras are able to see that. Dimensional drift will get 7 pretty deep here.
30 seconds left.
And able to spot out that position for Evil Kick. Actually going to emerge here behind the clone, but then they crash out. So GLRS not quite sure just how many people are swarming over this site right now. Him though, what a correction! The vertical flick downward. Not easy to pull off, but Luxo has the trade, and TSM completely get off the site.
Luxo just trying to press forward silently.
Oh, beautiful.
Caught in the molly, but wins it. Come on.
You're kidding! The Proto didn't want to be there. He was forced out of that position by the mosh pit. Iranga here. Wingman going to go for the defuse now. He's able to deal with Kimon. We're up to half on that defuse. And Iranga here can try and get the rest of it done. Shock Dart licks him down to 75.
Hey, tell me I'm
No Astral Util left anymore. There's none of that to use. And now it's poised for Irango. And he plays it to perfection, boys. You love to see that. No chance for a defuse.
You love to see that, but you hate to see that. That is just the state of Abyss, buddy. Just jiggling behind pillar. Bonus round converted, and TSM can feel the victory within their grasp. They are so close at this point. Sim has really stepped it up on this map. And they play that round nicely from the macro sense too. Good calling from Poise. They really drew a lot of that attention, kept the players from GLRS more focused over towards A as they pivot back into that B hit with the late lurk as well. Coming through the mid side. Nicely called from TSM, nicely executed.
And honestly,
Pause called late in the game, a necessary one, no doubt.
absolutely, you've got to try and collect yourself here. The problem for GLRS is I don't really think there's the weapons to build much around behind here. I think they were pretty skint at the end of that last one.
Now this is going to be an eco round here. Buy what you can, but make sure you can buy for the next type round. And I mean, they should. I mean, I would imagine they're coming in with some kind of plan to try to win this eco, obviously. But you know, they're doing the future planning for the buy round, where if TSM do get this, get to 11, then that is obviously where they need to stop them to try to make this comeback a reality.
And of course, for TSM, for all we've said about them over the series, and I don't think that they were exactly getting themselves rave reviews after Haven. They've been very good for this whole map. They've been very, very clean. Again, we saw them try a bunch of stuff to generate value from having 2 duelists on the defense side. Hey, got them a 7-5 half. Win the pistol, convert on the first gun round. And they find themselves up 10-5. Now GLRS having to take attack pause there. Sato, though, cleans up 7 early. He was a little too far forward. Okay. Is this where the thrifty happens? There's just no way. Sato very low, though. He has to be careful. That ends up being a straight trade, 2 for 2.
Yeah, they collect a couple nice picks, but get perhaps greedy, searching for more. And TSM still had Poison to Proto posted up on more passive angles. Ready to chew up that aggression. They do just that. And no weapons collected for GLRS either. They're still just on Sheriffs.
That one probably hurts most of all. That's why they designed that aggressive pop out of A. To put themselves on a bit more even footing gun-wise. Luxor and Evil Kick have a little bit of armor at least. Up against Phantoms, it may matter, but Sato is 1 shot.
Biding their time. It's not playing close. What a first shot.
What?
And Evil Kick picks up the angle from backside.
Ah!
Oh, no. Connects with the instant headshot on the swing. I mean, that is just nasty individual play. They came out of the timeout with an aggressive look to fight for A main with the Sheriff buy. Bring it down to the 3-on-3, but that is just pure individuals.
Can we talk about the recon dart, the recon bolt thrown there by Poised? Is that supposed to go like into the site, or is that intended to be on the side of the door frame before they hit? I don't know if you. We don't have it on replay.
I was not paying attention to the
either way,
recon.
it didn't get him.
I was paying attention to the headshot.
Yeah, I didn't get him any info. They sort of pushed in after that, regardless. Oh well, what a history be the judge. Right now, another round out to play here. TSM still flash, of course. Sim still kind of clean with it. Luke Show again has to be the one that shuts him down. But still, we are well and truly fighting for this site. And Gimon is a very deft little correction up to his top right. While Evil Kick was trying to play from that box. And looks like that last round goof up might be a little more than the memory in a moment.
Cutting through.
I mean, no, TSM have brought it back to basics. They didn't even give me enough time to set the stakes for the round, which were that they, due to losing that eco, are in danger of their economy being broken. But why am I setting the stakes at this point? Doesn't even matter. literally,
I mean, you gotta do something to fill while they're saving.
GLRS, they're the ones who have to save. That could have been the beginning of the comeback, but TSM just brute force into the site, trade out, win the duels.
It looked decisive though from TSM. Like Sim getting up onto the side, plays to coast, and the rest of TSM moving into B main here. So no room really given to GLRS to set up there. That's good. That's how they close out this game. Maintain the confidence they had. Just because they lose a thrifty doesn't mean that needs to vaporize. A long day.
Sim has done a significantly better job on this map of finding those first kills as well. Definitely have to give him credit for getting back into this series after the devastation that TSM suffered on Haven.
I mean, that level of mental fortitude is going to be the bare minimum prerequisite for a tournament like this. Again, like you mentioned, second place doesn't really matter. It's win it all or go back to the drawing board for another 8 to 9 months.
This tournament is a marathon as well. There are a lot of games to be played. You gotta pace yourself, and you definitely need to have the resilience in a format like this.
Through mid, TSM are very deep already. And of course, Irango on the other side opted to play very passive deep holds. But TSM haven't really tested the periphery anywhere else, so it's an educated guess that has GLRS being very careful about this part of the map, and this will be very illuminating. That our drone goes in even more. They see Evil Kick here. The Hanasphere coming out, but it's speculative at best. Recon here knew there was a little fake going across there by the Yoru. Evil Kick's able to come out and find yet another one. This is much better looks here for GLRS. They play back, wait for TSM to come to them. And now it's up to a Proto and Poise to try and save this. And Irango has to hear this.
And it's 2 versus 4. Irango just backing off, playing the Molly, trying to delay, deal some damage. I mean, come on, a Proto cannot be winning that, but he's traded out. Sato with this operator.
He's recovered well and truly. Little flick to get the job done here. And GLRS keep their heads above water and also keep pressure on that TSM economy.
A lot of pressure. Evil Kick coming up huge here. I mean, this is nothing but individual play. Again, TSM, this is 2 rounds in a row where they are hitting the B site and running into 3 players. This time they just didn't win the duels as they did on the last. Evil Kick played that little micro situation very well. I mean, we've been seeing him do that all day long. Score just being adjusted there. Was confused myself for a second, but all good. GLRS on 7. And now, Mitch, allow me. Stake setting. The economy. TSM. Was staring down the face of 4 ultimates in this round as well. Must win.
And a Proto is on Sheriff here. Not really a debuff, but just well worth knowing. That economy has definitely started to run dry for the attackers. And Evil Kick again. The theme for GLRS has been to give this mid up. Allow TSM to do what they will with it. Catch them when they actually try and hit a site proper. You didn't see that, don't worry.
Deploying drone.
This is a pretty bold call here from Poise. There was a lot of emphasis placed over towards B, looking like they wanted to go for a split again, but will finish on A. They have to contend with this Cypher setup.
And Luke Shaw was heard a TP of the Oro over towards the side here. Looks like here's actually, Seven was actually able to deal with that crash. Looks like it got picked up before it found its intended target. Irango has to peer through the smoke here. A risky play to make under the best of conditions, but turns it into 2 kills. And that's the best that GLRS could have hoped for there. Now they have to work in from the outsides of this site.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, it's only a Proto here left, and they didn't have any other smoke, so this pit is a must.
This pit could be everything. There is some good util available. Evil Kick has a recon. There's a paranoia for Root as well. Recon sent out. Sato trying to get in. Oh my god! Catches a Proto immediately. That is filthy work with the knives. Evil Kick swinging in from the bridge in tandem. Outrageous to shut down a Proto straight away.
What are these
Never
retakes?
expecting to just be pounced upon like that. Come on, man.
Unreal. Irango tries to get ahead of the retake scenario by just peeking the smoke and is able to find 2. So think of that what you will. Sato dives in, finds a Proto who's playing in a very safe spot on the site with those blades ready. And then TSM just absolutely crumble. Not the first time this map that a retake from GLRS has absolutely gutted them. That's going to be frustrating. They lay all the groundwork, right? They get everything done. They're able to push it onto the site. They trade players in a 3 versus 3. They have a post plant. And to have it all come crashing down like that is really going to get to you.
And even at that, there was a late flank coming from Rude through main. I mean, perfectly set up and executed from GLRS to keep them in the game, the round to break the economy of TSM. Ults expended, but the value found. Gotta give credit to Irango. That 2-piece spray transfer to keep things at a 3 versus 3. Pretty outrageous. Have to imagine the huge majority of the time there he's just getting traded out, and that's a 4v3 for TSM.
Yeah, he knows full well that he's probably not going to survive that peak. But able to throw a risk in there and take a 2-for-1 exchange to even the numbers is, yeah, it really paves the way for that retake ultimately for GLRS, who, you know, have to play into a Viper's pit. That is a very difficult situation to navigate at the very best of times. But Sato has zero fear, leaves him with the Blade Storm, knows that he doesn't even have a better close range option, and finds the exact target.
He was so certain that a Proto was going to be crouched on that box as well. He just went straight for him. Crazy.
They did have what they needed. They had a recon as well that they could throw in there. Either way, that's the economy of TSM, right? That's completely gone. The goals.
So, oh my God, gets out. Pinged up too, but rounds the corner.
Got free. Not a scratch on him. Now to play through this cyber cage a little bit. Players lit on their side. It's going to be poised. Dealing with Luxo at the very least. But Sato has really not left this position. He's been able to stay pretty close to the action. He won't be able to stop the plant though. And here comes the Cosmic Divide. Now that wall, another wrinkle in the plan for GLRS to try and deal with. And, okay, so now Agumon saw that. Sato's able to come through the wall. Sheriff's going absolutely nutso this round in a 2v2. Looking for an upgraded weapons here, surely, as Boyd backs up. But Rude is waiting for him. The best laid plans maturing here for GLRS. And they get themselves another.
Oh my God, that got very, very dangerous for GLRS. That Cosmic Divide from GMD was a very bold move, but it ended up working out. Almost just created such a just chaotic enough situation that their bad weapons could come out on top.
Yeah, very messy here. Okay, well, again, it was a thrifty round from TSM there. They were trying to make use of that Astra ult as well as they could, plus a collection of sheriffs and whatever they could cobble together in such a round. But this is the kind of thing that can let your opponent's economy get out ahead. Full buy for TSM.
Yeah, they've got the Viper Wall placed for A. Everyone's stacked up. They want to just go for this straight up hit. The Owl Drone will force Evil kick back. In the site. A lot of work to be done. Dimensional drift in to gain information.
Spotted. Sim pinged out. A trade at best, but Timon can come back in and put the odds in TSM's favor. Sato has to play from outside of the smoke here, from security. And Seven playing right towards the edge of the map here. This will be a difficult retake for GLRS.
Sato right now might have an opportunity. Seven just
was he
walks into his waiting arms.
He was pretending to be a decoy. I'm almost
No, he was just trying to follow it up, I think. I mean, I don't know, but he goes down regardless. 3 versus 2. Dashing from Sato. Shut down from GMD.
Okay, just the one. That's a proto. And another retake. That was a 3 versus 4 retake there for GLRS. And that was TSM's buy. They're not going to have another one for a little bit. And there's a real world where this ends up being a tied game. It's a tax side for TSM. We were hyping it up. We were saying, okay, they've got a double duelist composition. They've had 7 rounds on defense. They've really paved the way here for a great end to the map. But look at how much they've struggled.
And how did that all go so wrong? I mean, Seven just walks right into the crosshair.
Well, he just does not think that Sato is going to be set up on that right side, but there was a smoke there prior, so you don't really know. I'm interested what info Q he's playing off of there. It was just funny because he was walking in a straight line, so it resembled that of his decoy.
The economy is back to the doldrums for TSM. They are on the cusp of a couple ultimates, though. If they lose this round into the next, perhaps the final round of the game.
GLRS, though, can buy for the rest of the game, essentially, with the win here.
Sim has collected that ult orb to get the Blade Storm activated.
Will supplement his lack of weaponry in this round. But what is the idea for TSM? I guess the Viper Wall here probably keeps a couple of these GLRS players interested in A. Much like the Lurk Wall you see on maps like Lotus. And they've got to work this mid somehow. They've pinged sort of, yeah, okay, A side upper. So they might be trying to get someone in there, embedded, and ready to sort of pincer in with an A main hit.
They want to go for this A split with Viper Wall, cutting the defense in half. fast through heaven now. A lot of pressure on Oranga.
The A main side of the split is a bit slow, though. They're not quite there in time here. Still, 7 and Gimon able to hold it down. Yeah, the A main crew just arrived, so timing wasn't perfect there, but as soon as you start to break the door in upper, you have to go. So in the end, no harm, no foul for TSM. And they've got themselves Vandal, multiple Guardians, and Sim with the Blade Storm has perished already.
Yeah, they really caught the GLRS players in some awkward positions with Orango down on the ground, just trying to play in a cage. GMD on the backstab as well right now. Should be able to put the nail in the coffin on this round. Get TSM to 12.
That's very dangerous. Yeah, Gimon's position is absolutely devastating, potentially. Evil Kick, though, is looking upward. Gimon just pinks that. Multiple players of GLRS looking at him, in fairness. But a Proto should be able to lock it down here. It's up to Evil Kick on this defuse. Snakebite. He got the defuse, man! You gotta be kidding! Hello?
And he runs away with the hop like a bandit. I mean, come on. I cannot believe he got that molly at his feet. Was that the last bullet from the Guardian and forced to reload? Oh, my Lord. That I cannot believe that. That is devastating. Again, a 4v3 on the A site. Squandered. Devastating for TSM.
Well, I'm craving some ballistic. I'm craving some ballistic therapy of my own now. After that, oh my god,
I'm stunned.
Hard to watch indeed. That's a heartbreaker for TSM. Just that Snakebite is a little too late to the party. An Evil Kick gets away with outright murder.
You are divided.
All right, Cosmic Divide here going up. This looks like a fast A hit. In come TSM, wanting to get this one out of the way as quickly as they can. They've been able to get some Guardians, Vandals into the round, so buy is reasonable. Oh, never mind.
Spike planted.
I was worried for a second. We'll have a main hold here for TSM in this post-line. She got someone!
Through, yeah, it does catch one. Rude wins the duel, collects a Proto.
Last player standing.
This boy's wildly firing there at ADS, and GLRS get their 12th round of this match. TSM get in. They've got a post-plant set up at the wrap they're just not ready for. The Thrash catches them out, and Rude's able to find 2.
The retake from all angles is just so lovely from GLRS, exploiting, going through spawn into A main, that thrash from Orango. And at the same time, other players coming in from heaven, pinching through sight. It's just so good. It's so well executed. Sato now up in hands for what might be the final round. If the Brazilian first seed can capitalize here, first loss for North America,
And
that would be pretty outrageous.
I mean, and we're talking about a team that was 10-5 up. 10-5. Winning the pistol after having a great first half. A 7-5 scoreline. Convert the next 3.
Take flight.
I feel like all they need to do is string together some of these executes. I'll tell you what, they've been unraveled. A couple of individuals and GLRS have really caught them pants down.
All right, the spike being dropped in A main there. Evil Kick did here from that heaven position. There are 3 players still over towards A. As GMD has just been on containing duty, making sure that no one from GLRS has pushed up, gone on a little stroll towards B main. As they now work into this B split, teleport, gate crash, and dimensional drift for information. Backside from 7.
You can see a lot from here, a heck of a lot. Dusky emerge and try and take the fight. Well, it's going to be a Proto going down first. 7 is inside its smoke, but Luke Show knows it all too well. 3 versus 3 now. Oranga trying to push up, out from upper sees the head of Sim. And he gets so much damage. Both Gimon and Sim are down to 10. But he can't find either of them. And perhaps it's plot armor, perhaps it's something else.
I mean, that is gutting. Perhaps it's not the buy of the Vandal.
That is devastating. Now it's a 2v3 for GLRS. Trying to close out the game, trying to close out the series here. They're still on the table. Paranoia connects with Poised. He's stuck, got pinged out as well. It's dangerous to be Poised right now. And Rude wants to make his way up through that smoke. He has the timing, but Sim is waiting. 4 kills for Sim in the round. Evil Kick steps up to the side, and Sim gets the ace to take TSM to overtime. What a ridiculous game.
outrageous from Sim, a duelist that on the prior map was really faltering and has now just fully rejuvenated himself on Abyss. In the final moment when it felt like TSM were going to throw this game away, throw that lead away, steps up so massively.
We're doing this again. After 6 rounds, TSM find the one they needed to take us to overtime. And Irangu, man, with the Phantom, a couple 140 shots on 2 players. Absolutely heartbreaking stuff. Finds us here now, out of regulation in a locked up game. Saw this on map 1. TSM won both overtime rounds and took that map a bind. Will history repeat itself again?
Soul crushing for GLRS, who have to immediately reset, get their heads back in the game. So close to closing things out. So close to just an unreal comeback on day 1 of Ascension. I mean, what that would have meant for them to start things off so strong with a win in the group stage. And TSM might just snatch it back away. Slow from them. Steady take of A main.
Revealing area.
This will be illuminating. Boys calls that out.
Right now, this drone is being sent out from Evil Kick just to maintain attention being drawn from TSM on the B site as all the pressure's coming in on the IGL Poise. He's on the retreat.
And he's not going to be able to get away. He doesn't have enough room. He found 1. He found 2. Poise holds his ground. This is legitimate 1v4 stuff. He gets 2 kills coming out of it. Now, Rudes look dangerous, but doesn't have the time to get deep into spawn. Definitely not onto that ledge like we saw earlier in this game. Decoy there from upper. That gets spotted out. 7 now knows someone's playing below the rope here. Rude knows there was a dash past him, but he couldn't do anything about it. Gimon fair to snap him up. And now it's down to Evil Kick. 1 player against the 4 at TSM is too much to ask. And GLRS, surely not. Surely they're not about to let a second overtime go in straight rounds.
Heroics from the IGL. I mean, I thought Poise was going to try to book it out of there, but he felt like that wasn't an option. You know, that sightline is too open. If he tried to get back into spawn and dash up there from the jet would have just been his demise. So he stood inside, fought, gets 2. I mean, come on, that is outrageous. GLRS need to be trading that out. And from there, it just crumbles. They're going for these individual efforts to try and recover the round, but it's disjointed. They're picked apart one at a time from just the death ball of TSM rolling back on in off the flashes from 7. This would be soul crushing for GLRS. I mean, both of these teams have just put so much into this game. This is only match 1 for both of them. They're going to need a long night's sleep after this. I mean, this is mentally taxing for all 10 players in this server. 12 if you'd throw the coaches in there as well. And TSM Faded is going to need to get faded after this, I'm going to be honest. This has been a long day for him.
Yeah, Bind was a 90-minute map, Wyatt. 90. Just to give you an idea, Haven obviously about 45 minutes. So we're already, staring down the barrel of about 3 hours for these guys. Pretty absurd stuff. And it is draining. It is mentally taxing. It is going to take a toll. But this is a round GLRS cannot afford to drop. They could justifiably be walking into their second match in the group stage with a win, with the pelt of TSM around their shoulders. They just need to stabilize here in this overtime. That was TSM, by the way, obviously on that defense side, poised, brilliant anchoring in that round, getting himself 2 before TSM came back in numbers. GLRS cannot afford to stumble here.
Glass cannon operator for Sato. Eyes on the right side as Rude is pressed up, just watching towards that alt orb. This is where TSM are playing. They're gathered up for the B hit. Drone dealt with immediately.
Dangerous for Poise, very dangerous. Sato actually makes the adjustment to look left instead and is able to rotate and catch him at coast. Beautiful flick. 7 caught up inside Crow's Nest. He wasn't fooled, but this is unreal. Ultra instinct for Sato out of nowhere with the ace.
I mean, come on, just I'm stunned. I'm speechless. There's a reason the Brazilian community are hyping this guy up. There's a reason you've heard the rumblings of, where's Loud Sato? Some people have wanted that. I suppose this is why. Oh my god, man.
Oh, you gotta
destruction.
I would simply have just jumped off the map, actually, if I was the last player there. That's terrifying.
I cannot believe that. I mean, he's thrown them in the wood chipper. Just shredded them to pieces.
He has mulched them.
I mean, actually, just... I cannot believe that. I'm stunned. I'm stunned.
Attack pause here for TSM. I don't really know why, considering there was no opportunity in that previous round to consider tactics. And I don't know if tactics really played a part in it.
I don't think so. A tactical pause. Sato. Sato go ace.
That bro out there.
Genius call.
that bro out there looking like Avatar, bro. He got all them elements at his disposal. Just blasted TSM.
Oh my god, man. I'm glad someone called this timeout. I need to catch my breath after that. I can't talk about the game. I don't know what's happening anymore. I'm in a haze. It's something, a nasty combination of 14 tech pauses and that unbelievable ace has just put my brain in the air fryer, man. I need to collect myself.
The last airbender just clapped him, man. There's no other way around it. All right, TSM, we're reeling. Imagine how they're feeling. My God. They got their lunch cut 8 different ways. Push out of A, though, has been good for a trade. Spike loose briefly. 7 will be punished for his hubris. We'll see things.
Perhaps a bit fortunate to find that one.
We're going to settle down on this.
Yeah, he's just gotten so much space here for free. Walked up while all of that action was happening towards A. Lucio was kind of controlling mid at the same time, and they've gotten this plant down. Sato playing
Spike plant.
the setup of the year. Is he going to get assistance? I mean, typically, obviously, you see a lot of passive play when it comes to the post plants on B, but that is not the case here. GLRS are ready to fight forward.
We liked this sort of deep B retake setup for TSM, but that was when GLRS were actually pushing into the middle part of the map. This time they're sticking out onto the side, and that's what happens. They don't need to commit, they don't need to go further. Poise does a fair bit of damage, but Lucio is able to shut this down, and GLRS now get themselves to match point. It almost feels fated in terms of how they got here.
Far too easy. It really does. I mean, that was just textbook stuff. Holding the angles for each other. TSM didn't stand a chance. Just 4 dominoes toppled over in the blink of an eye. Match point for the Brazilian side that have come so far, even just in this map, the comeback that they had to make. It started with a sheriff, pure sheriff by Eco. And now they're up 14-13 in OT. Sato pushing deep. They haven't done anything like this so far.
Sim can spot it. Sees all of it. 28-30 kills for Sim in a blink of an eye. Racks them up. And what a moment for TSM star play to come alive, because there was a challenge delivered by Sato that he absolutely had to answer. And now that's put TSM in very good shape here to get a reset in this extra time. That mid play for GLRS did not work out at all. What is left in the playbook here?
Spike planted.
Now, this was a Rungo. You'd be peeking out that smoke, brother. You know it.
Joe does find the first still. 2 versus 4. TSM have struggled on the A side post plants, but surely they win this one out.
Their post plants in general have been rough, Wyatt. This one here playing off the site. Lucio walks into their crosshair, in fairness. Serves himself up. And 7 is going to go and give Root a nostril exam. And again, flashing out of that dimensional drift to stop him from defusing. There's nothing he can really do about that.
No. No, there's not a single thing to be done.
Keep the OTs going.
I know, what a play from Sim. This is the honest Valorant that I love to see. Just 2 Jets going crazy. Just, it goes all the way back to the dawn of time, you know? Wardell versus Tens. Until now, we have Sim and Sato just going crazy in the server right now.
Why is that here reciting the deep magic?
I have dusted off the tomes from the great library.
Recite the deep magic to me, witch. Oh my goodness. GLRS were not there when it was written, but that's to their credit. These Zoomers are turning up, turning the heat on TSM. Sato, great opener there.
Now Sim on the opposite side. Confident to continue holding this site with the dash available. Will not falter off this angle. It's passive from GLRS playing this default. They're covering over towards B, containing A as well.
The same spot that Sato has been playing from here as well. Allows him to check coast as well, because he is playing B solo right now in lieu of a proto, which means that the Viper wall is just decoration. Here it is. Okay, sort of forces the double back there briefly for Sato. Poised is able to finish the job. Sim got a good amount of damage there on that jet encroaching, but falls ultimately is rude. An evil kick can really establish themselves here on this site, and now the reinforcements for TSM are a long way off. Flash here for 7 to work with. That's about it.
How the hell did Sim find one there? With a Dizzy having him full blind. It's just some random tap. Got a headshot onto a Rango. 2 versus 3 anyhow. 7 trying to work back in. Utility available. And there's a lovely first shot. And connects on the second as well. Bit of penetration through the wall, but connects multiple Vandal bullets to the dome. GMD shut down 15-14. Another chance for GLRS to close this out. Just 1 round away. They couldn't do it on the previous OT cycle. Is this the one, or are we just going all night long?
I mean, it was what GLRS had to do to get themselves out of this position or into this potentially winning one. It's pretty ridiculous. What a way to start off our Ascension tournament in 2024.
Spike drop.
But this kind of showing here from GLRS, who really, by rights, shouldn't be threatening to win this map at all, based on how that first half and that second pistol rather went.
Recon sent deep into mid, and with the poison cloud up, duelists will make their way forward, dealing with that drone straight away, but
He saw it all.
that gathers a nice bit of information. Sato, not the glass cannon op, not again.
The setup on this corner here. No flash between either of these agents. They're waiting for a push, expecting one out themselves, poised on that angle. A proto, a couple steps behind.
Yeah, this is a slow setup from TSM to work into an A split. Poise does have the drone. That's going to force Sato back. It's possible Sato gets caught between both sides of this push.
Preemptive on that.
Potentially trying to retreat. Here come the players in heaven.
He has to get pinged. He's got no choice. He's one to hold the line. He's forced back and brought down. Sato just lingers a little bit too long. Feels uncharacteristic from him. He's been so measured over the course of this series. But that might have hurt GLRS in their quest to try and get the map done. Dizzy sees nil. Zorango's made his way into mid and is trying to shut down the potential of Gimon to backstab late in this execution. Sim sees Luxo. Still an evil kick up, a swing back out on that one. Nicely done. That evens up the numbers. Now GLRS want to get info about A main. They want to see what their setup is. So, Recon thrown out. Poised with a shock over towards that side. Mosh Pit's going to force him off that angle. Zorango looking to get it to half. He gets there. There'll be more. Zorango's found yet another one.
Standing.
That is beautiful. And the wingman's done his job. He's gotten them halfway there. It's all Gimon. And Gimon to try and save the game. Defuse underway. And Gimon keeps TSM alive. Zippo clutch to take us to another round of overtime.
Oh, what a hero as the time dwindled down. This still, it is the steady hands of GMD. This guy has just always shown up for TSM all year long.
Player standing.
And he does it again. God, these post plants, they are just never smooth sailing for TSM. Every time it's just so fragmentary, disconnected, with Sim on site getting punished. Similarly to how Sato did earlier in that round, being pinched from heaven. And now Sim says, whatever Sato can do with that op, I can do it just as well. Picks it up, glass cannon, locking down A.
Again, threatens to to be overwhelmed here. Gimon is really dominating this part of the map. Vents through Nest. He was so crucial with that late flank last round after Rude failed to stop him. And it looks like
Right there.
Sim has been able to back off of A main entirely here.
Yeah, this is a change of plans from GLRS. They wanted to go for the exact same split that TSM just ran on the prior round, literally 1 for 1.
Screen down.
But GMD, the anchor, shuts that down, throws their plans awry. It's now a B split.
Proto's giving ground here, but might still get double faced. No. Luxo and Arango split up here. Chance for a Proto, but just a shoulder peek from the Gecko. Is he thrown out? But the Dark Cover's going to prevent that from being an issue. Luxo, though, found 7 down on the side. A Proto is going to be poised to bails him out from inside the smoke. And now Luxo's in an awkward spot. Had to clear that. Had to take 2. Too tall in order.
Spike
But there will be a
planted.
plant. This is over towards Coast here. It's the wrap again from Gimon. He's gotten himself into a flanking position. He'll see Evil Kick here as well. Beautiful stuff. Leaving Rude alone. Surrounded. Viper Util still in play. An Astra to deal with as well. The Proto shows, and that's a confirmation of Rude's position. He gives up his life for it. Noga Pulse doesn't connect. Rude steps back a bit here. Rude put himself on the 1 versus 1. TP out. Where could he be headed? Straight off the side here, ready to play that full retake. TP across so we can get the line on towards Coast. But he's down to 30 and Gimon has to look to try and clutch this again. Gives it a tap. Little peek from Rude, but he's low. Another peek like that. Another wallbang hit, and he's gonna be gone. Gimon trying to get the defuse here. But the time, he knows it, not in his favor. And that's gonna be a GLRS round.
I'm losing my damn mind. How does Rude do this again? GLRS have won so many clutches in this series, and I think Rude has gotten 4 of them now. Unreal. 1 versus 3. Crushing for TSM. And GLRS, 3 times in a row now, they are going to have a chance to close this game out.
And that is after, of course, Gimon gets his nasty flank position. Able to get rid of Evil Kick there.
I can't believe that. Rude getting the teleport online.
I gotta see these post-plant stats after this game.
Unbelievable.
16.
This is the tried and true for TSM. Their BXX just straight up worked many times for them.
32 rounds of play here. Simeldo deal with Luxo. This is for TSM again to stay alive in this map, and they're really not wasting any time. Knocking heads together on this B site. Get that coastline plant once more. Can play off behind that Viper wall. It's going to be frustrating for GLRS to get through, but Evil Kick gives him an opening. A very tight angle finds Sim.
Rango does at least have the wingman too to try to get on the spike to force some of these peaks out, force duels to be taken by the TSM players that are so passive.
Sato here. Always loves to play this close angle. Wants to hedge between both angles.
Player standing.
Finds one, but 7's going to be there. Evil Kick trying to get that defuse with wingman, but it's not to be. And again, we're going to run it back yet again. TSM hanging in this game.
Overtime.
And after 32 rounds of play, we've not been able to find a victor. Back and forth through multiple overtimes.
TSM really just taking things back to old reliable. They found a lot more success on this B site, and they've had a number of just straight up executes that have worked on that side of the map. So just working again, some consistency there for them, at least with their play there.
Here we go again.
Operator.
Defensive Viper wall thrown up here to break up the push. Sato makes the jump across and Sim catches him midway through. He has been transcendent in this overtime. And that's going to take the wind out of GLRS' sails, literally and figuratively.
Spike planted.
Wingman, though, is going to be able to get the plant down. This is a different spot for it, though. It's going to be poised, set up. He takes 2. That is beautiful. Luxo going to be frustrated by double flashes here, and 7 probably won't give him the pleasure of the challenge. Another decoy broken through. 7 is just dominated Luxo in this round. So frustrating to play against that Yoru. And now Tarango has to try and find a way to put it together. 7 says, absolutely not. We're fated to win this one.
I can't believe that first shot hit by Sim. Both jets have just been electric. That is, goddamn, that is vile. That is filthy. You just can't be hitting shots like that.
And that might be the one.
Oh my god.
That might be the one that gets them there. That is insane.
It might be. GLRS have had 3 opportunities in a row winning that first OT round. They have not been able to close out. This might be the end of them.
Can TSM finish the job again? Another overtime. That they end up clutching it out. Round 34 is live. Sim is 33 and 24.
Insane. Can you imagine as well just like the exhaustion that Poise is feeling, the IGL for this team? They played how many rounds in this series now? I mean, how do you stay so focused and on point?
I mean,
it's outrageous.
Bro almost tried to vote draw, I'm sure of it.
Here.
Listen, it's a group stage. Maybe that wouldn't be so bad. A draw, it's better than a loss.
Okay. Deep up TSM, mid rather, had TSM gotten. So all this noise on the periphery here is just to try and pull some people out of position. They're looking for something on A instead. So gonna be just the trade here, but that opens up the way to the A site, and already the spike is being ferried in that direction. TSM make a different player, thrust down mid to try and win the series here.
Massive distraction caused by Sim. Oringo just trying to regain control of even just their spawn side. Brood picks up Poised. Nicely done. Lurker dealt with 4 versus 3. Paranoia, Wingman, good pieces of utility to get back into this site.
No, we're looking for from Sim, just 2 players left here for TSM. And they're playing a full retake position. No Astra Stars down either by the looks to interrupt this defuse. Proto near sided to cut. Just plunge through. Trying to throw it down. Finds it with the classic here. Going up to Gimon in a 1v3. The defuse comes out. And we're going to run it back yet again, folks. TSM fall apart in another post plant.
GLRS just the beneficiaries of the hard work of the trusted Wingman. Just sticking that spike while they're able to fight forward. While it draws out, the TSM players forced to spam away at them. This game is going all goddamn night. I'm just in a moment like this, I'm thinking about a Roy on the analyst desk on the East Coast, and we're on game 2 of 3. That's tough, buddy.
It's 10 p.m. out there.
We're going all night.
Don't you go anywhere, brother. We need you. Look at this push up. What a timing. Okay.
What is this thing they caught?
Oh no, but they fluffed it. Okay, never mind. 7 and Sim able to ruin GLRS' days. They all drop down. That is a person. That's why you can't move. You've clipped on their model of the other player who's going to shoot you. Luxo might have created an opportunity here if he can get back into the site. But Sim's found 3 in this round. Luxo shuts him down again. 1v2. Spike a long way away though. Look at that minimap. It's down outside of B. Luxo's got another one, and he's got to give the information on Gimon's position. He'll have enough time to get this spike recovered. And he knows exactly where the Astra is. Luxo needs 4 to win the round here. Frankly, I've seen crazier things happen in this game. But Gimon is waiting, salivating, and he doesn't know what happened there.
I mean, look at his reaction. Actually just saying, what the hell is this guy doing? And takes him down. I mean, listen, I respect the balls from Luxo to try to just push up and take the fight to him when surely he'd be sticking the spike, but GMD just prepped and ready.
Happy that his delivery came to him. I'm sure of it. So again, we find TSM off the back of a very odd round, but they've thrown in a really nice little variation there. That push up very fast out of B completely stumped GLRS. And they've had a few of those looks on quite a number of these rounds that have put them in this position to close the series out. They just need a post plant win here. That's all they're after.
All right, TSM, they're returning to one of their classic just A splits, but they're running into 3 players, including the Cypher setup, multiple kill strings.
Okay, Oringo when he gets the clone there. Evil Kick, though, is able to find 2. Just 1 player at the site right now, though, for GLRS. It is Evil Kick. Playing it safe. No real pressure on him yet. As there it is. Poise able to make his way over the top of the container. Now it's Rude and Sato. Sato, who's gone off the boil in the last couple of rounds, but was instrumental for GLRS. And he makes the correction. Poise is down now, the 2 versus 2. Spike yet to be planted. TSM grouped up for this now as Rude and Sato are the same. 2 groups of 2 to decide the outcome of this game. Paranoid's an issue for Sato, but he shrugs it off. Tries to work that corner, and Kimondi's there. Rude tries to take him down. Now the 1 versus 1. Aproto, can he seal it? He can! Aproto gets the job done! And TSM take the series.
I mean, that absolute madness in that series. What a way to end it. So clutch coming up from Aproto. It's been a little hit or miss for him over the course of the 3 maps, but when it matters most, he shows up, shutting down Sato, who's just been an absolute star for GLRS, the #1 seed from Brazil, by a hair, being bested by the #2 seed from North America. I don't think a series gets much closer than that. I thought we were going until around 100 on Abyss.
Oh, man. I mean, it probably would have helped if Rude didn't flash Sato there in that 2 versus 2. But that wasn't really what it came down to in the end. A straight up 1 versus 1. And Aproto was, yeah, definitely, you know, he's had to sit in a corner a little bit this game, be a role player, do his job, deal with just some pretty ridiculous conditions surrounding him on the battlefield. But here you last loudest, folks, and that is a 2-1 score over the series for TSM. 2 of those maps going to overtime. This one going to about 1,232 rounds, but ultimately, Wyatt, TSM,
like
who
3 a.m. I mean, I've lost all track of time. It's like I'm in a casino. I don't know what's happening anymore.
pump the oxygen into Wyatt's windows, right? Just keep him giddy, keep him going. All right, we're going to head over to Ades to break down this extremely long series. A lot to talk about, but TSM have emerged. NA's #2 taking down Brazil's #1.
What a series. What a series. A series that was long enough to cover for the entire day. We still have another best of 3 after this, by the way, but wow. TSM be able to clutch it up in the end. Honestly, Emily, with how this was going back and forth, I genuinely didn't know and didn't think of who would be at advantage, who would be on top. It was just always so back and forth in these OT rounds.
It was very back and forth. I actually thought it was never going to end. It was just constant battle after battle, and there was multiple aces that we ended up seeing towards the last part of the half, and I think even one in OT. It was a Stato versus Sim battle simulator to me. Both of these players showed up, both of them shined. It just came down to, there was a few secret diffuses that ended up happening in the smoke. The spam wasn't in the right spot, but also just hitting sites and getting entries, and just, I don't even know where to begin, honestly. That was so much that just happened in the OT.
Yeah, there was a lot going on, and I think for me, towards the end of that match, the micro just kept leveling up with every overtime. Players just kept getting more and more dialed somehow. You would expect them to run out of gas eventually, but no. Their foot was on the pedal the entire time. They have infinite gas, everyone. They literally have infinite gas. And TSM's calling did not let up either. They kept up the pressure. They kept up the tempo. They kept the momentum rolling, and eventually they closed it out.
And just going back to some of these shots that were coming out from both teams, which is absolutely insane. There is a part of me that wished this OT wouldn't end, because it was just incredible to see. But I am very intrigued to see about the stats and everything else. 24 first kills over on the side of TSM, Roy. Let's dissect that one first.
Yeah, man, I think a lot of that was probably Sim, but the other part of that was also Seven, who was also having a really great match. Both of these players were, every time they would run an exec, every time they were doing some kind of mid default, these 2 players were getting their opening kills, and it was amazing. Yeah, half of the kills are actually Sim, so half of the 24 that TSM got are in one person's hands. It's Sim.
Yeah, that was Sim. I'm thinking back to that one shot tracking Masato's. There's the dash and the smoke and everything else.
Oh,
for that
yeah.
kill was just incredible. And then Sato with that insane ace as well. It was just that both Jets really, really showing up, and not even just them. I mean, we haven't even gotten to talk about Luxo and some of these plays, Emily.
Yeah, Luxo also shined, as we can see with the stats here, 29 and 27. This was a person who clutched a few times early on, multiple 3Ks, had really good spray transfers, and was doing an excellent job with those cages and utilizing the Cypher util. This is a player that we highlighted before the game. Same as Sato, same with Sim, and same with GMG, and all these players definitely played how we expected of them, and it was just an exciting series to watch.
It was, and there is a couple of different things to be highlighting through this, but first up, wanted to go back to one of the earlier rounds and kind of talk about how it even got into this OT position, because Roy, when we look back to kind of the post-plant situations coming out from TSM, it was something that a little bit of a struggle, which obviously doesn't bode well when we look at these overtimes.
I mean, absolutely. TSM was struggling in their post plans. There's really no other way to say it. There's just so many situations where they were in winnable positions, but GLRS just kept up the pressure. Their util was amazing. The way they came in from every direction as well was just on point. And you can just tell in this clip, like, it was just so close. But I have to say, like, GLRS's retake percentages must have been unreal in this matchup, because it really did feel like they won almost every single one of them. And that's why we even got to the OT in the first place, right? Because it looked like a TSM sweep up until that point.
It really did. It was one of those things that was just like going through that. I'm glad that it went down. It went down. So they have something to learn from, and we got to obviously see the 1.5 years of overtime. And talking about like these clutch situations, I mean, they were able to clutch up TSM when they needed to. Then later on, even if there are a couple of post plants, little awry. Sorry, this is later on. This was like Roy, like,
this is the
going
ace.
through this. This is the ace. This is the ace. I'm getting my clutches mixed up. Too many aces, but Sato in this ace was nuts.
No, I love that. I know the ace is insane when you're just getting giddy in the back room over here, just like, oh my god, you guys see that? Oh my god, you guys see that? Like, even you got excited. I was like, yes, this is amazing. But unfortunately, it just wasn't really enough in the end. It doesn't even matter. But
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, that's all right. That was hard, but we have to make sure we can show that we didn't get Sim's insane shot, but we do have a little head-to-head to really talk about these duelists just a smidge more. Because reminder, this was the very first day of group, so if this is going to be like the performance that's coming out, Emily, I mean, this is a group stage. Only 4 of these teams are going to be making their way out, and both duelists really showing up in a huge fashion today. And for how much we were talking about Sato throughout this, for Sim to have this type of performance when it really mattered, I think is humongous for TSM and their chances for making it out of groups.
Yeah, I agree. Both of these players are definitely stars for their teams. Sato just has very snappy, clean aim. And looking at the first blood percentage in comparison from Sim to Sato, Sim has 33%, while Sato has 16%. So that means we were watching this on Haven, on Bind, and even on the last map of Abyss. Sim was doing such a good job on getting those openers, but then we didn't always see, even with that first blood, of TSM winning. So that really hurts, but Sim's just doing his job really well on that opener of getting that, of getting those first picks. So 1.6 KDA as well. I mean, guys, that is really insane from Sim, and he pulled through to all the way through towards the end.
I mean, it's plays like that and just performances like that that are going to be able to take you far through that. And we have had so much about this series for today. We're still going to have an interview coming up, but we're going to let everyone be able to actually take a smidge of break and get up from their PCs, because I know everyone has been glued to their chairs. So we're going to have the quick break, interview, and then on for our next series. So stay tuned.
Remaining. planted. One enemy remaining.
Breach standing ahead. No more.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining. Remaining. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. One enemy remaining. Last player standing.